All right, and good morning, everyone. So this morning we have a 2014 Toyota Camry. It was hitting the rear end, so we had to replace the trunk lid, repair on the quarter panel, new bumper, and spoiler and applique for the trunk lid, which was not on the estimate, but I'm painting it just to make the job a little bit better. And for my last video, we were talking about sealer color for whatever color the vehicle is. So this car is silver, 1F7. So you want to use a light gray, medium gray sealer for coverage. Now with silver, like I said, you have to really check that color, because sometimes it might take 5, 6, 7 coats of base coat to get it, to have good coverage. So what I usually like to do is once I feel like it's based out, there's enough base coat on it, I'll kill the lights in the booth and I'll grab my sun gun, the UV light, which most painters will have. And if you use that light with the lights off in the booth, you'll be able to see if that color is covered or not. Yeah, as soon as you put the light on it, you'll be able to see if you see sealer or if it's completely covered. So right now, I just sealed it and letting it flash off. I'm going to apply I'm going to tack it first and then apply my base coat blender or my wet bed, whichever one you guys call it. And then we will start putting base coat on. Until then, I will be right back. Okay, so the wet bed has been applied. The wet bed is just, it's just a great tool. Even visually, it leaves a shine on the panel, especially when especially with silvers. Silvers, most painters that are new painters have a difficult time with silver. That's just a fact. They have a hard time getting the blend out properly without, having metallic buildup. So base blenders, it's just a great tool visually, because you can actually see once you start putting your base coat on whether it's a good blend, bad blend. It really does. It just totally helps you visually. You can see what you're doing better. It helps for the metallics to lay out better, and also is a good bridge for the sealer. That way you don't have a hazy line when you're putting your base coat on. I'll see a lot of guys, they won't use the base blender or wet bed, and then once they apply the silver, you can see a hazy line right here, and then after it dries, they're going back with 1,500, 2,000 wet sand in that spot, then to rebase it. Well, if you use that wet bed, you don't have to do that. It covers nicely, guaranteed. Regardless of how long you've been doing it, your whole life or 15 minutes, the wet bed is definitely the way to go. It just makes your job a lot easier, just so much easier. All right, now once I get a coat or two of base coat on, we'll take a look at it and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. And as I get 2 coats of base coat on and I'm looking over the vehicle, as you can see, I found a few pinholes that I did not see prior, which happens. Nobody's perfect, so every now and then you're going to have that issue to where you got it in the booth, you got it based, you give it a good look over after you get a couple coats of base on it, and you find a couple problem areas that you have to address. And you have to address it. You can't just say screw it and base it and clear it and leave those bad spots in place. You just can't do it. So I'm going to have to wait. I'll put a little bit of combi filler. Contrary to most belief, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of combi putty. There's nothing wrong with using it. The problem is you have to make sure you use it correctly. When you apply it, you have to make sure that it's completely cured before you sand it. Because if not, once you paint it, clear it, and if it's not dry, it shrinks, and whatever you're trying to fix is still going to be there. So you're going to have to give it time, let it dry, wet sand it out, and finish it up when that's, once I get that little spot repaired. So we shall be back.